So Kristine and I were just talking about, that Eli Manning's got a little Jeter to him in New York. There's a lot of, and the Giants fan base, Terry, is older. Like there's a lot, the New York Giant fan base is older, be respectful. It's very much, the New York Times, all the news fit to print. Would you bench Eli Manning today?
Absolutely not. No, I wouldn't bench him. I'd fire the coach, but I wouldn't bench the quarterback.
Okay.
He's lost his receivers around him. His offensive line isn't as good as it has been.
Yeah.
Eli's fine. What you'll find he'll probably do more than ever is he may force things a little more, try to force the action.
Yes.
But no, you don't get rid of Eli.
So you still think when you watch Eli, he made a couple of throws down the seam yesterday. You still think he can make plays?
Absolutely. Just you got to have, bring his players back. When Eli listen, I've said this so many years, Colin, if you give a quarterback talent around him and he's talented, he will perform. We've seen it too many times. We're seeing it in the Rams with Goff and everything they put around him. They bring in Woods out here in L.A. They bring in
left tackle,
Andrew Whitworth at left tackle.
He's been a
amazing.
I mean, there's a canopy around Goff. Right. You can't touch him now.
Gurley's here. They bring in the other wide receiver from Clemson through Buffalo.
Sammy Watkins.
There you go. Remember last week I couldn't remember names.
Cooper Kupp.
3 out of 4 is not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
If you gave me 3 out of 4 every Monday, I'd bring you back every week.
If I got 3 out of 4 on Sunday, I'd be happy. So they've got it's talent. It's all talent. We get too caught up in sending these guys to the shower when, in fact, we don't look at the full picture. You got to look at the full picture. Once you do that, the last thing you want to do is bench Eli Manning. That's crazy.
Okay, you said this yesterday on the Fox show about the Falcons. I want to play a piece of tape here. Here's Terry Bradshaw yesterday on the #1 Sunday show for over 2 decades. Here it is.
28-3. They have a lead in the Super Bowl. The point is, you have to start preparing mentally to get ready for training camp, to get ready for the regular season. They never had the right amount of time mentally to get themselves over that, and that's all there. There's nothing else to this. It's just that simple.
I watched Atlanta yesterday, and part of me, Terry, on my football picks, I'm like, Atlanta's going to come back, Terry. This is the week they're going to pop.
Right.
And I watched them, and I'm like, yeah.
I know, and I thought Carolina would win, and they did. But, yeah, you're right. You don't. Of course, Howie turned to me the week before because this is an old story. And he said, well, you never lost the Super Bowl. I said, no, but I can understand. I've lost championship games, and I know how hard that hurt. And you never get over that. Atlanta, when you lose like they lost, you don't get over that. You got to go see a therapist. You got to spend a lot of time, and you will get by it. But I don't see their football team as a emotionally charged football team.
They were last year.
Yeah, man, last year they were smoking.
And now this year they're not.
They
it's
got
like
it going,
somebody unplugged them.
Hey, everybody's feeling good, and now it's searching for looking for answers, trying to figure this out. Our running game is Freeman okay? So, what's wrong with our wide receiver? Where's our tight end? Gonzalez could go back and play. It's a bunch of things. They lose their middle linebacker. He's out for a while. I mean, you can't, you can't just turn it on. I know that doesn't make sense to a lot of folk who have been paid a lot of money. Absolutely. But that is an emotionally devastating loss, and you just don't get over it.
And by the way, athletes now, with all the social media, you can't hide anymore. And so that means every corner you go to.
True.
People stare at you, look at you, talk about you. You read it on your phone. So I think to even a greater degree, it's harder to overcome a devastating loss. You're now such a public figure. You're mocked. You're tweaked. It's tough. It's a tough world.
No, I'm well aware of that. That's why I do that tweet thing.
Don't do it.
No, heavens no. What I want to do, hear someone say, you piece of junk, you low-life goober from the South. I don't think I need to hear that junk. You dumb butt. I mean, come on, let's get real here. I don't want to hear that stuff, but you're right. Back when I played in the 70s,
just a newspaper columnist.
Paper. You had a paper. You had maybe 2 papers in Pittsburgh, maybe 2, and that would be it, right?
Yeah.
And then then you got USA Today came out. Oh, that was later though. Yeah, that's it. And then you had, and then I recall HBO cable came out. So they had that HBO show with Lenny Dawson and
And maybe they tweak you a
A
little.
little. So if you watched it. So, yeah, pretty much just paper-driven.
Yeah.
So you stay away from that stuff.
Yeah, now you're driving to practice, sports radio's
Oh, my
tearing you
God.
apart.
I mean, look
Your
at this.
kids are in
Here
the
it
back.
is. What is it, 9:30
morning, and
in
I'm
the
going
morning?
crazy.
And here we go.
Okay.
And you've been after it already.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Okay, so yesterday we're watching the Cowboys, and I said this. I like Alex Smith. I like him. But
Did you? I made him my halftime MVP of the league.
you did.
Yes.
That wasn't great.
How stupid do I feel this morning?
I'm so.
I mean,
listen,
he's let me down. Plus, my wife is a Chiefs fan, and she's watching. Good morning, baby. How you doing? She's watching right now.
yeah, but you watched that
I
yesterday.
think.
If you take out that one play at the end of the half,
Right.
Terry, I got 3.5 hours. They didn't make a play. And I
know.
got Kelsey, and I got Tyreek Hill, and I got Kareem Hunt, and I got Andy Reid.
Yeah.
It's time we just come to the. Alex is a nice player.
It's time we come to the conclusion that Dallas is pretty good.
They are.
They are. I mean, it's just so much is going on. I cannot figure it out. I stay away from the Chiefs game, but I would have picked Kansas City yesterday. As a matter of fact, a lot of guys on our set picked them to win that game. I picked Seattle. Seattle's not going to lose to Washington. Washington just lost to Dallas at home. They got to fly across the country and play Seattle, who's got a hot Russell Wilson. Come on, who are you kidding?
Left
and they
tackle
went
now.
in there and just pounded them. I mean, it was a low-scoring game and an exciting game down to the end. But is that quarterback going to get his money now in Washington? Did you see the comeback he made?
I know,
with a
Terry.
minute 24 left.
Terry, come on.
Here we go. Here we go. What, you don't like him?
Terry, I'm
Cousins
not.
is not your guy?
He's fine.
Fine. Well, pay him his money.
You would pay him 28 million.
I paid him 43 already. I paid him 43 for franchising him 2 years in a row, 43 million. What are you going to pay him next year? You're going to pay him $34 million.
No, so
you got to sign him.
No, the point, I think you're right. I think the reality
I know
is
I'm right.
What you
I'm
don't,
right here.
You are right.
I am right.
What you don't want to be in this league is terrible and chaotic at quarterback.
Replace him. What you going to get? You already tried Robert Griffin III. What are you going to get? I mean, he's earned it. You got to pay him. Just pay him. Write it off as a business expense. No big deal. Pay him his money. I mean, look at him. He plays well. He loves that offense. He gets him and Gruden see eye to eye. It's
coachable.
Y'all were talking about Brady and Belichick. Man, what a beautiful combination that is. And I'd like to see it continue going on and on. And she's right. Couple of years, I would think Bill would move on. Maybe not.
Let's talk.
I mean, they may win another Super Bowl this year. Do you know that?
Oh, I think they may.
Yeah, I dang sure will.
Because I think there's really good teams in the NFC, but remember, they're all going to knock each other out except
Well,
one.
exactly. Yeah.
So I think, it's funny. You didn't always have, this goes for a lot of people. Dan Marino and Jimmy Johnson had their issues. John Elway had his issue with Dan Reeves.
Marino didn't want to run the ball. Jimmy came from Troy. Here's the difference between Dan. I love Dan. Don't you hate it when people say, I love Dan. Now let me criticize him. But Dan wanted to throw the football, and Jimmy that's not what Troy Aikman realized, and your conversation about running is spot on. I believe in that because I came from that system where you build your defense and then you build that running game. And the running game keeps that offense on the field longer, okay? Right. Not the passing.
Right.
Do 1, 2, 3 touchdown passing, and you got a good defense, and you wear them out, and that's how come the games get high, and that's why they stay close. But if you run that football 8, 10 times, and you're killing that clock, and that good defense you have is over there, and they've gotten that, and then you give them the ball back. Passing, as Jimmy Johnson says, you score throwing the football. You win the game running it. You run the football, you'll win a football game. And I'm glad to see that I'm glad to see that we do have coaches that realize that. They all say it. We got to run. I love the 3 phases. We got to run, play good defense, special teams. I love it when they all talk like that, don't you?
But they don't want to do it.
Stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So when we talk Belichick and Brady, and Tomlin and Big Ben have been together for years.
Right.
Do you think, like Kristine alludes to, like is there a point when these are legends now? These aren't just players. Belichick's a legend. Tom's a legend. Are you surprised they don't annoy each other?
Not at all. Not at all. because Tom Brady realizes how great Belichick is, and Tom realizes his greatness is tied to the hip of Belichick, okay?
Okay.
Name me a great team. He'll obviously have a great coach. He'll obviously be hooked to the hip with a great quarterback. Am I right or wrong? That's pretty much, with exception of Dilfer when they went in with the Ravens. But most of the time, these long-term teams that play for a long time and play together, there's a great quarterback, a great coach, and they're tied at the hip. And Belichick checks his ego, and I think Brady, as great as he is, both of them, I think they check their egos. And it's not like I want to be acknowledged as the greatest coach. We already do that. I want to be acknowledged as the greatest quarterback. We already do that. And I think they both realize we need one another, and they both love winning. And it's not about who gets the credit here. And that's what's so important. You'll see that so many times nowadays where you'll read where a guy says, like they said down in Tampa Bay a couple of weeks ago, we're playing out of position. We're not being given the opportunity to do the job that we want to do. But I'm going to do what's necessary because I'm a team guy. No, you're not a team guy because you just told us you're not in the right position to do what you want to do, which is sack the quarterbacks or whatever, but you're a team guy.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.